You've probably seen a headline saying 2023 was the worst ever housing market, which is just not true and plain misleading. In this video, I'll explain why these national headlines are plain wrong in Sonoma County, and we'll take a look back at 2023 housing market and see what the differences are in all the various different micro markets and look to what might happen in 2024. You only need to ask any realtor how it was, and most will say it was a tough year. Not because it was a bad market with house prices falling, but just because sales dropped 22% year on year to just 3,253 homes sold last year, which is a 30-year low, not seen since 1990. Unlike Marin, where median prices fell 7.3%, and San Francisco, where prices fell 12%, median prices in Sonoma County actually continue to increase, albeit by just 1.2% to $835,000 now being the median price of a home in Sonoma County. And that's not a terrible market and doesn't deserve those headlines. In this video, we'll cover the key factors that impacted the Sonoma County real estate market in 2023 and look at the differences in 5 key sub-segments, including Sonoma, Healdsburg, Sebastopol, Santa Rosa, and Windsor. First, let's analyze the key factors which dictate the local real estate fortunes right now. The first ones are obviously the overall economic influences. So rising mortgage rates above 6% for much of 2023 priced many first-time home buyers just out of the market before the rates stabilized later on in the year. On the supply side, with 86% of existing mortgage holders having a mortgage under 5%, coupled with the fact that homeowners are now staying in homes longer than ever, now 12 years compared to 6 years in the decade which ended in 2010, means that there are very few people either in a position to move or motivated to move in 2023. If you are looking to buy a bigger house, the monthly mortgage cost would just be too high. And if you were looking to downsize, why would you when a smaller home will likely cost you more money than your bigger home? Despite this tight supply, the continued popularity of Sonoma County as a place to move to and live in meant that, unlike many other markets in the US and in the Bay Area, the median price actually continued to increase in Sonoma County, not go down. In fact, the main reason there has been no decline in prices is because the buyers simply outnumber the sellers. I can't see that changing anytime soon, especially as interest rates begin to fall. So let's first look at the luxury segment. There's no question that the luxury segment is cooling off. The luxury market, which I would say is market over $2 million, reflects the general market in microcosm. Its median sale price rose to $2.747 million, which was a fraction above the 2022 level. However, annual sales declined 24%, with just 215 closings across the entire county through the entire year. Days on market increased a little bit to 77 days, and the sale price to list price continued to be squeezed, with the average home selling for 6% less than the original asking price. While inventory levels were tight, there were an average of 180 homes for sale in any one month, and yet there were typically just 18 deals every month over $2 million. In other words, 90% of all homes on the market in any given month would not sell. In the same way you hear in the national news, did the US housing market just hit rock bottom? Thinking about what happens across the entire US housing market is relevant to Sonoma County. It's meaningless. In the same way that it's meaningless to look at the national headlines and think that those apply to the Sonoma County market, in the same way, it's meaningless to look at the overall Sonoma County numbers and think that every single market in Sonoma County behaves the same. It's just not true. So now let's dive into some of the micro markets and see how those have performed. Once we drill down, we see a stark difference in performance in some of these micro markets across the entire county. In the ever popular Healdsburg market, the 15% sales drop still outperformed the other key markets in the county, with median prices increasing by a whopping 9.3% to $1.23 million. And this comfortably outperforms the rest of the county. When it comes to cash, Healdsburg was also at the top of the pack, with 48% of all homes being purchased with cash, compared to the average across the county, where 27% of homes were purchased with cash. Contrast that to the city of Sonoma's experience, where median prices fell 13% to under $1 million, $956,000, which means that Sonoma has now fallen way behind Healdsburg when it comes to median prices. In Sebastopol, another market where we do a lot of business, we saw sales volumes fall by 20%. And while prices fell back just over 2%, homes are still selling at pretty much asking price. 99% of this price. This compares to 2022 when the average selling price was actually 1% over the list price. So Sebastopol has cooled off maybe a little bit, but it's still a super competitive market. Consistent with a lot of the other markets, Sebastopol homes were selling in 53 days, which is fractionally up on 2022. But however we look at it, 2023 was still very much a seller's market because of the numbers of buyers just outstripping the number of sellers. Windsor, a market that's very much a family market with first-time home buyers and move-up buyers, experienced a similar fall in sales of 20% and a slight fall in median home prices. Although like Sebastopol, homes are still selling pretty much for asking price, again at 99% of list price. This isn't a great surprise in a market like Windsor, where there are a lot less cash buyers and where the majority of buyers are local buyers tied to high interest rates and local salaries. If you do want to stay up to date on everything happening in these key submarkets and life in Sonoma County, as well as new developments and more, then make sure you subscribe to my free monthly newsletter below. I'll leave a link in the description. It takes less than 10 seconds to sign up and you'll get insider access to Sonoma County information just before everyone else. And just so subscribe to my newsletter below. So who are the buyers? So with Sonoma County such a popular market for second homes and investors, and there's the short-term rental investors as well as the long-term rental investors, it's interesting to note that in a market like Healdsburg, which is probably one of the more popular second home markets, along with Sonoma, 64% of homes that were purchased in 2023 were purchased by non-primary homeowners. In other words, purchases aimed mostly at second homes or investment properties. And this figure has actually climbed notably from the 37% back in 2019, highlighting the continued growth of Healdsburg as a popular city for both second home and investor purchases. And investors aren't just coming from elsewhere in California or urban hubs like San Francisco, because 39% of these buyers actually come from Sonoma County themselves, with Healdsburg investors representing 25% of this number. That being said, 30% of these buyers actually came from the Bay Area and pockets like Marin and Silicon Valley. So we're still getting a lot of investment from Bay Area buyers. So what is the outlook for 2024? It's hard to imagine there being less sales in 2023, given that was a 30-year low. The market this year all depends on whether there's just enough buyers who choose to sell. And there's no question that with interest rates still, only likely to improve marginally, then there were enough buyers either with cash or enough buying power to be motivated to purchase a home in 2024. I think a lot of buyers think that if they sit on the sidelines, then prices might fall. I'm afraid I've got bad news. I just don't think it's going to happen. When you look at the fundamentals of the Sonoma County market, particularly in the above $1 million category, where a lot of houses are being purchased with Bay Area money or by Sonoma County investors, combined with the number of buyers far outweighing the number of sellers, when interest rates actually come down a bit, it will be more competitive, not less competitive. The big question for 2024 is whether enough sellers will decide to sell to meet the demand for the number of buyers out there. So personally, I can't see the number of sellers increasing significantly, so it will remain a strong seller's market if you are thinking of selling. Just from our own deals so far this year, over half of them are multiple offers, which tells you something in its own right. If you are looking to buy and you're looking to find out more about the cities in Sonoma County, you can download my Sonoma County relocation guide by clicking the link in the description below. There you'll find everything you need to help you understand the area, what it's like living here, and decide which area is the best fit for you. Despite the housing market looking strong, of course, no one can predict the future. It's particularly hard in an election year. While there continue to be tech layoffs, the overall economy does seem pretty resilient. As always, we'll continue looking at the real estate market in Sonoma County close and continue to analyze the sub-markets. So if you want to keep taking a look at it with me, make sure to subscribe to my channel to get the new videos on everything you need to know about the Sonoma County housing market and more. If you made it to this point in the video, there's a good chance you're thinking about buying your next home, investing in this area, buying a second home, or selling your current one. We'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. Just email me at david@brewingtonhargreaves.com to get started. I mean, our team is the #1 Sonoma County team, having helped 71 families and investors in 2023 who bought and sold $78 million worth of property. With us, you get inside access to developers, homes that are coming on the market. We're also the #1 second home and vacation rental resource in the county. But before you go, if you like this video, you'll love the next video about everything you need to know before deciding to move to Sonoma County. I break down the A to Z, the different areas, what it's like living here, and way more. So you can watch that video now by clicking up here to check it out. See you in the next one.